Kindly be seated. Please remain silent as well. Now, we request our Vice Chancellor, Dr. Ramesh Bhatt, to felicitate our guest of honor, Dr. Ramesh Darba.
The director of NMIMS Hyderabad, Dr. Ashwini Deshpande, is a master of many trades who has continuously strived to academically invigorate the faculty and the students of this institution. May I now invite Dr. Ashwini Deshpande to welcome the gathering.
Good morning, one and all present here. Honorable Vice Chancellor, NMIMS University, Dr. Ramesh Bhatt sir. Trustee, SVKM and mentor of NMIMS Hyderabad campus, Amit Sheth sir. Our today's guest, Dr. Ramesh Darba. SBM Program Chair, Dr. Abhilash Kona. Assistant Registrar, NMIMS Hyderabad, Mr. Rishikant Gupta. Dear faculty colleagues, staff and my dear students. Heartiest welcome to School of Business Management, we popularly called as SBM, SVKM's NMIMS, deemed to be university on behalf of NMIMS Hyderabad campus. And let me congratulate you for the smart and wise decision to get admitted in the course of your choice. I also want to thank your parents for their interest and respecting your interest too, for having a faith in SVKM's NMIMS brand, and also for opting NMIMS Hyderabad for your career path. We at NMIMS Hyderabad are delighted that you are joining us with this academic year for one of the most important and transformational experience of your life, as you will be beginning with your studies of a Master of a Business Administration program. NMIMS, with a headquarters in Mumbai, has expanded its base in South India and started its first operations at Bengaluru in 2008. It further expanded its base and started the operations in Hyderabad in 2010 with SBM, and now we have 4 more schools in this campus: School of Law, School of Pharmacy and Technology Management, School of Commerce and School of Science. Amongst all the campuses of NMIMS Hyderabad is the youngest institute to have Mba accreditation, with continuing efforts, support from the management and under the visionary leadership of Honorable Chancellor Shri Amrish Bhai Patel, academic leadership of Honorable Vice Chancellor Shri Ramesh Bhatt sir, Pro Vice Chancellor Dr. Sharad Maiskar sir, Dr. Meena Chintamanini madam. NMIMS has grown significantly in terms of its credibility as one of the outstanding education destinations in India. To take all-round care of such a beautiful campus and the ecosystem here that is growing, we are blessed to have mentor like Mr. Amit Sheth sir, a very popular person among student fraternity for his student-friendly nature. You will experience the glimpses today. He is a great motivational source for all of us. So after looking and after knowing your hierarchy, university hierarchy, we will look towards the school. We have arranged entire week program for you to introduce this system here. We will learn more about the school, its academics and administrative processes and other necessary information during the 1 week of your foundation program, which is commencing from today. The program schedule and the other details will be shared with you in a due course of a time by the academic office of School of Business Administration. Students are backbone of the institute, and happy to say that I have a very strong and tested backbone. We are committed for the student and believe in their holistic development. Apart from the regular studies, we see to it that our students will grow as a good human beings. Since last week, we are testing your seniors for this, and I'm proud to say that not only your seniors, but all the resident students of NMIMS Hyderabad supported me and displayed their best qualities to make you stay comfortable in a campus. And I'm expecting such a proud moment from your batch too. The School of Business Management has highly experienced, qualified, motivated and committed faculties with varied background and experiences from all areas who bring with them a rich variety of experience and knowledge from the world of academia as well as industry. The faculty encourages the student to think and find their own creativity by promoting a wide range of ideas and the open expressions of diverse opinion while maintaining an atmosphere of integrity, civility and respect to others. Monitoring the academic process by continuous evaluation is an integral part of curriculum. Faculty plays a major role in monitoring personal and professional counseling and molding the careers of their students. To study well, we need a good health. As everyone is aware, we are just emerging out of one of the most difficult times witnessed during this millennium. The pandemic-induced health and other risks have not yet abated. COVID is once again prevalent in some parts of India. I personally encourage you to make sure that you have followed all protocol and adhere to the guidelines given by the Health Ministry. At NMIMS Hyderabad also, we have put all the protocols in place, mechanism to ensure healthy and safety state of you people in the campus. NMIMS Hyderabad is a residential campus and gives us a flexibility to groom disciplined future professionals, nurturing their lives, add a value addition and find out the hidden talents and strengthening their inherent good qualities. This includes co-curricular as well as extracurricular activity round the year. Our alumni are well-placed, accomplished professionals, affectionate about their alma mater and always being a part of campus exaltation. I welcome you all to the NMIMS and hope you will involve yourself wholeheartedly in the mission of building excellence in your profession as we make outstanding professionals in the India for the world. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your kind and motivating words. Thank you for explaining the importance of this course and letting you all know that we are delighted to have the juniors here. Thank you, ma'am.
Dr. Ramesh Bhatt is the Vice Chancellor of NMIMS University. He brings NMIMS extensive expertise and 4 decades of teaching, research, consulting, and administrative experience. Before joining NMIMS, Dr. Dr. Bhatt served as professor at IIM Ahmedabad for more than 2 decades. Dr. Bhatt has served on various visiting faculty positions at various internationally recognized universities. He has served as an independent director at Corporation Bank, BEML, ITI Limited, National Small Industries Corporation, Ahmedabad Stock Exchange, and various other companies. We welcome you, sir, to address the gathering.
Okay, very good morning to all of you, and heartiest congratulations to all of you on making it to the NMIMS University. May I have a big applause for everyone for well, on behalf of our faculty, colleagues, and our staff, and everybody at NMIMS, I am delighted to welcome you to the MBA program of School of Business Management. We are glad that after 2 years of pandemic, we are welcoming your incoming in person today. This is really a proud moment for all of us. Joining the program today is really victory in many senses to you. Particularly coming out of catastrophe, and we know that during the last 2 years, whenever we had the online interaction, the greeting tone always used to be, "Am I audible?" But I am very happy and very thrilled that we have come out of that crisis now, and we are going to have all our classes in person. And I am also happy that during this period, everyone actually came out of it consistently learning and growing. I'm sure that the kind of an experience all of us have gone through, there have been many interesting lessons which we have learned in our life. I think when it comes to the online classes versus in-person classes, I think it is very important, and that is what we have experienced, that richness of human engagement in person can never be replicated in virtual setting. Though still, I think in many senses the virtual world will also play a very critical role in our learning and our lives. I know that you have been through a highly competitive selection process, almost, I think, 55,000 applications, and finally making it to the NMIMS is really a very proud moment for all of you. And I'm sure that your parents, your families will take pride in your achievements and being part of the NMIMS University. But a couple of things I would like to tell about the NMIMS University and the SBN, about which you should be proud of. In fact, you should be proud that now, after joining the NMIMS University, you are part of the decade-old length of the SBN. Though many campuses are very young, but we have a legacy of almost 4 decades. And we have been always in the forefront of providing management education to develop the leadership skills in a forward-thinking and fast-changing business environment. I may also say that you are a proud entrant to the school which focuses on assurance of learning, the term which you will hear very frequently. And this assurance of learning, abbreviated as AOL, represents the highest standards of achievement for business schools worldwide, and this makes our school set itself apart and focus on high quality and also achieving the global recognition. You are also part of the NAAC accredited A+ and Tier 1 category university. The status granted to only 29 universities in India out of 900 universities. So, are you feeling proud? Yes. Great. Well, let me come to the times which we are in, and what are the kind of challenges as a student and as a learner you are going to face. And because you are joining the school at a time when you know that many significant changes are unfolding in the environment. Your disruptive changes, Internet of Things, crypto ledger systems, artificial intelligence, which were some buzzwords a few years back, are now reality. As being in the education field, these are the kind of things which we are also learning these days. Well, why it is becoming critical? Because several initiatives in these areas were started in the last few years, which have come to the fruitification now. And what we are witnessing, that it is going to change the world and the way the businesses will be managed in future. And therefore there is an important responsibility for you that once you have joined the school, after 2 years when you enter into the corporate world, you have to really make sure that you are prepared for the kind of challenges which you are going to face. And I think many changes which you are going to happen, you are going to see them unfolding before your own eyes and having personal experience. And by the time you graduate, you would also be stepping into a new environment of opportunities created by the introduction of 5G and challenges of remaining relevant in the global world, where behaviors will be governed by algorithmic economy, cryptos, token economy, and attention economy. A few years back, no one had heard about the NFTs. And the trading on NFTs has surged to $10 billion in last year. It is still unbelievable that 27 million visitors in virtual gaming concert in metaverse would force us to think the kind of opportunities emerging in the future. No one believed that $2 billion worth of goods will be sold in 12 hours through streaming. And no one believed that India will be producing the highest number of unicorns and catching up with the China in the recent years. Old conventions are being shattered. Zero knowledge proofs, I do not know whether you have heard about them. These technologies are holding the key to the privacy and trust issues in encryption system and dealing with the technology. Who would have imagined that just a year back, a country, El Salvador, will make Bitcoin a legal tender? And recently, we also witnessed Supreme Court in India invoking Dharam Shastra to deliver the justice in a very famous case. Dharam Shastra is the treatise which runs into 6,500 pages, the writing of which started in 1930 and the last volume was completed in 1962, by Bharat Ratna Pandurang Vaman Kane. NIMS library has a copies of the Dharma Shastra, and I'm sure that this knowledge will be very useful in times to come, particularly when it comes to the concept of duty of manager. Now, what I just mentioned is the teasers, what is happening in the emerging economies and emerging situation, and the kind of an emerging opportunities. You can see the kind of an impact it is going to have in times to come. So let me turn to one of my favorite pedagogy of learning, learning from movies. Right? I love movies, particularly when it helps me to find the solution to some problem and help me to learn the new stuff. I know some of the recent discussions among the students is on sequel movie of Top Gun Maverick. I like this film for the belief in the sustained and learning power of human being. Particularly when you look at that the protagonist in the movie plays the role of teacher as well as many times as the role of student. I think the movie also depicts the strong belief in the sustained power of learning. The movie epitomizes an interesting contrast and link between the past and present. In fact, I'm quite influenced by a blog written by Mr. Amit Sheth, our trustee and our mentor, on this theme. Tom Cruise in Top Gun 36 years back, perhaps many of you were not born at that time, the first movie, was fantastic. For many days after watching this movie, we behaved like the protagonist. As protagonist in the movie, he is still the best fighter pilot, but times have moved on. But we also realize in the Top Gun Maverick that the age brings wisdom. And Maverick is still the best. He keeps up with all the young pilots and teachers and teaches them how to succeed in life. And of course, Tom Cruise is still handsome, rich, smart, talented, self-confident, and a bit arrogant also. But time and again he is told that his days are over. Those who have watched the movie, you will find that the admiral telling him that technology has taken over and there is no role for the pilots in the current times. The planes do not need the pilots now these days because drone technology has made pilots redundant and he is not needed anymore. And his boss many times have told him that the way the technology is developing, your kind of person is headed for extinction. And many times I think if you do not keep pace with the technology, you will be also told several times this same thing. In one situation, Maverick is stuck behind enemy lines and all he has on hand to escape is an old F-14 Tomcat from 1980s. Against the 5th generation enemy aircraft, this old battered flying machine stands no chance. In an F-14, Maverick knows that they are technically outgunned by the enemy jets. Logically, the duo should be finished. His, I think, rooster along with him, he feels that they both will be finished now. However, the rooster, his co-pilot, reminds Maverick. Maverick, it is not the plane, it is the pilot. Pilots make all the difference even in inferior machines. After he hears those words again, Maverick snaps out of his stupor and delivers one heck of action and comes out with flying colors. So what is the learning for us? Always remember, when dealing with the machines, technology, be that pilot. Now, in the movie also speaking to the students, Maverick says that today we will start what you only think you know. And I am going to train you to take your aircraft to the breaking point. I intend to push your limits. Show me what you are made of. I think when you are going to pursue your education in SPM, I think the similar questions will be every day told to you. And every course, every assignment, every project is going to push to your limits. And professors are going to ask you that, tell us that what you are made of. So therefore you have, given these kind of changes which are happening, you have an immense responsibility of making it sure that you handle these complex formulations and businesses, strategies of the new age, sometimes what we call the VUCA word. If you have not heard the VUCA word, it is, V stands for the volatility, U stands for uncertainty, C stands for complexity, and A stands for ambiguity. But the question is always that how actually. If you follow the process, it is by understanding what is your mission of doing MBA. It is important to understand this before you go forward. It is this mission which will keep you focused. Let me spend some moments in telling you what should be your mission, or in general, what is management education all about. Well, you may decide to follow any career path any time in future, but it will be important for you to understand why are you pursuing your MBA. And after speaking to the students, the obvious response I used to get for placements. But that is an outcome. If you do not have understanding of that mission, you may fall apart. As they say in German proverb, what is the use of running when you are not on the right road? Sometimes it is hard to talk in general terms about what is the mission of an MBA student. I am not really sure how many of you thought about it and pondered on it before taking the plunge in doing the MBA. When you compare MBA with other professions like architecture, medicine, law, accounting, the mission there is very obvious. Like if you go to the School of Medicine and you ask them what is your mission, they will tell you that our mission is to create health and create healthy societies. When you go to the law school and you ask them what is your mission, they will say our objective mission is to deliver justice, protect rights, create just societies. When you go to the School of Architecture, when you ask their mission, they will say create quality of built environment. And when you go to the accounting school, they will say that our mission is safeguarding the assets of any company or any entity on earth. If you go to the business school, like you come to the SPM and you ask that what is your mission, I do not know what will be your answer. But I think it is worth thinking, and I am going to propose something which you can reflect on, maybe sharpen it further and make it part of your life. So to understand that what the mission is, I think you need to really find out that what will you be prepared for, what will be you trained. And you are going to spend 2 years of your precious time at the campus. What you will be educated for. So after, I think, if we had time to discuss, deliberate on it, I would come to the conclusion that my training, my education will be primarily with a mission to create the value in future. So if you go to the School of Management, you ask the mission of the School of Management should be that our mission is to create the value. Now value here does not mean the money. Right? Money, of course, is one way to express it. So SBM of NMIMS has this ethos of what we call nurturing the positive power of value creation with integrity. You cannot, you can also create the value being very unethical, right? But we will say that we nurture the positive power of value creation with integrity. And you will have the education, you will have the training, you will have the practice, being among the best in the world who will be able to find the ways, develop strategies, explore options, everything to do what? Every class you attend to do what? Every assignment you do what? Keep on asking that question, that whether it will help me to create the value. Right? So you will be going through a series of exercises to look at a problem and find how to fix. You will be looking at systems which is broken and think about how to improve it. And at times you will be forced to look at the need or the demand which is unfulfilled. In nutshell, the management is all about how to bring things together, people, resources, competencies, to create systems, create processes, and create structures, and find the channels that will create value. So therefore, all the courses which you are going to going to go through, like what is the good structure of the organization, what is the good incentive system in the organization. These are all the processes, systems, structures which is going to contribute to the value creation. So this nurturing of the positive power of value creation with integrity can happen only when you remain open to the learning, which is, I think, simple stuff but not easy. And let me tell you why. Well, when you join this program and the courses will start, the school will provide and create opportunities for you to learn and equip to handle varied challenges. And I am sure that you use the opportunity presented by the school and its esteemed faculty, and you make the best use of your time to nurture the leadership needed to be value creative. You are stepping into learning ecosystem and you will experience fusion of learning opportunities SBM has created for you. How you play with this fusion and prepare yourself depends on how and your determination, your attitudes and your habits. They are going to play a very important role. As they say in performing arts, succeed. So SBM is a place where the faculty believes in and focuses on the experiential learning. The efforts put together by our faculty staff will make it sure that you are trained to achieve your mission, handle the decision-making business situations with greater success. We at the SBM are committed to providing you a solid foundation to your knowledge base, honing your critical thinking skills, helping you to understand what role the attitude plays in being excellent, and why forming good habits are critical to becoming effective leaders and value creators. So at SBM we follow this concept of what we call the CASH. Not C-A-S-H, but K-A-S-H. If you follow the K-A-S-H cash, you will get the cash, C-S-H. Logic is that. What is this K-A-S-H? Now K stands for knowledge, A stands for attitudes, S stands for skills, and H stands for habits. So why I have put attitude between the knowledge and skills? You cannot convert your knowledge into skills if you do not have the good attitude. So attitude makes you to think what to do with the knowledge. And knowledge and skills create your talent pool, and with right attitude and habits, you create excellence. So these are very complementary to each other. In fact, if you put this in equation format, knowledge multiplied by attitude multiplied by skills multiplied by habit is the excellence. So any component, if it is low, your excellence is low. So you have to keep all the components at a very high level. But during the program, you also need to ask this question: what do you mean by skill? What do you mean by knowledge? What do you mean by attitude? What do you mean by habits? Generally, when I go to the during your midterm, I think I'll be visiting your classes sometimes, and I keep on asking the question to the students that tell me what is the one skill you have learned during the last semester or last term. Let me tell you that students find it very difficult to answer. Except the skill of time management, they are not able to think any other skill. And then I force them to think that what this skill means. So it is very important, I think, you make sure that keep on counting what are the skills you have added to your cash, which is your balance sheet. KASH is your balance sheet. While you are maximizing the cash, like you are getting more knowledge, more skills, more getting good attitude, right habits, make sure that you harness the energy during this process at emotional level, at intellectual level and physical level. So don't ignore that part, which is very important because health is very important. So you need to maintain that physical energy. The emotional is very critical, and you have to really ensure that you develop the skills where you are able to inspire others, and intellectual. By accumulating cash, in fact, you maximize your intellectual energy. Now let me spend some moments on developing what it means developing positive attitudes, particularly when we are in the VUCA world. See, certainly last 2 years when we were in a very complex situation, so we see that many changes happening and behaviors getting altered. So, and I think the people also develop very different ways of dealing with the things. But one thing I learned during these last 3-4 years, particularly during the COVID period, and as we move forward, whatever we are doing, we need to make sure that when we are dealing with the volatility, you develop an attitude of responding and not reacting. See, many times we, without thinking, we react to the things. So reaction is not a good way to deal with the things, right? So you have to respond to that emerging situation. And as a student of management, I think the first thing you must look at that what is the difference between the responding and reacting. Handling uncertainty, make sure you are not allowing your fears to avoid taking risks. When you take risks, you may fail. Learn how to fail. Life thereafter will be learning, unlearning and relearning kind of stuff. And life in future will be learning from these failures, and therefore learning to learn must be the aim of your life. In fact, in the Top Gun Maverick, you find occasionally that a Maverick telling his students, get over your fears and overcome your fears. The third thing is to address complexity, ensure you are able to see and perceive with clarity. Your critical thinking skills will help you to link and develop interconnected framework of critical variables in the real life world to produce greater clarity. and make sure that you spend some time on contemplation and meditation to quiet your mind enough to make meaning to handle the ambiguity. So make sure that during the 2 years of your education here, you develop these skills and put that knowledge and skills through these positive attitude tests. And certainly it is a process of learning. SPM faculty will ensure that while you are here, you not only understand the business dynamics and how to create excellence, but also will help you to understand how to be socially and ethically responsible manager with global perspective. Our curriculums are designed to provide greater learning through feedback system and providing a hands-on experiential learning environment. All our courses follow assurance of learning system, which ensures that delivery of courses are aligned with the MBA program goals. The school will also create a lot of opportunities for you to work with the well-known companies as interns and also work with the social sector organizations for civic engagement through WeCare program. So, I invite you to explore the SPM environment and by going through our programs, curriculum, requirements and course offerings and discover more about the SPM ecosystem of learning. Now the maverick, the protagonist, while flying with a co-passenger, tells him that sometimes when you fly, you feel you are right side up, but actually you are upside down. And many times when you are going through this program, you will experience this kind of a situation that you are feeling that you are going straight, but in fact you are upside down kind of a situation. But are there any shortcuts? You cannot hack your way to nurture positive power of value creation and growth. Best performance is not accidental. Best businesses are not serendipity. It is real hard work and understanding with empathy. There are no shortcuts to genuine learning and creating excellence. It is real hard work. In fact, any student of music and sports will tell you developing right attitude and great habits requires time, practice and patience. The path of learning in any case is not straightforward, but remember to make learning as part of your DNA. And during your foundation program and following after that, program faculty will navigate you through these courses and strategies, so pay attention to that. I'm sure the rigor of the program and the toughness of the program, there may be times when you will feel at loss. So if you feel so at times, not every time, but at times, if you feel that at times, I have some solutions to handle that situation. So when you find sometimes it is difficult, it is getting complex, you are not able to handle it, please think of visiting your favorite faculty to have a cup of coffee and share your learning with him or her. If not, organize a Save Earth campaign and run for the same. If not, listen to tunes of Indian music or Beethoven or Bach music in the quadrangles of the campus during lunchtime or in the evening, not during the class time. I think it has the greatest impact because it helps you to increase dopamine, which is essential for learning and increasing memory power. you still find at loss sometimes and find it difficult, just go to the one corner of the campus and watch the sunset once in a while. You will feel relaxed. If not, just walk into the corridors dancing and humming your favorite tunes. And sometimes record it. And show it on your Facebook or Instagram. Sit down coolly at some place, take a deep breath. After that, call your parents and thank them that what you are today is because of them. Find out their well-being. What I'm just trying to say is that obstacles and difficulties are the part of the life. And wise men always treat and leverage them as the opportunities to excel in future. And life gives you many options. I just playing music, listening music, right? Or running for the saver. So try to handle them well. And at the end, I don't think you should have any regrets, whatever you do. The protagonist in Top Gun Maverick, the admiral that you should have been 2-star admiral. If you see the movie, can actually not got the promotions, etc. He's still a captain. So why are you still a captain? So Maverick replies, life has its own mysteries. So make sure that when you play a program and leave this campus, and when you enter into the new world, you are by any mysteries and regrets. Remember, wherever you go, reputation precedes you. Your reputation precedes you physically. And for that, Maverick says that you have to always keep on managing the expectations. So therefore, keep on managing the expectations. School will have a lot of expectations from you. Professors will have a lot of expectations from you. Make sure that you are able to manage these expectations well. When you complete your program, you will leave with lasting bonds and relationships with your professors and with your class fellows. In fact, I was just recently reading a book on regrets. So the author has analyzed some 4,000 cases of regrets, right? And his advice is that sometimes regrets are functional, sometimes they are not. Means they are bad. Particularly, he advises that there are, I think, 4 types of regrets which you should never life. One is called the foundational regret, which means what? Which means that you should not have the regret that, oh, there was a financial accounting course and you did not pay attention to that financial accounting course and therefore you do not have financial accounting knowledge now. Now these are called foundational regrets. Second is the boldness regrets. You should not have regret that, oh, if you had participated in this competition, you would have perhaps earned some reputation and you would have got some awards and you would have some prize. So make sure that at the end when you complete the program, there is no regret which is in the category of boldness, that you did not take any, you were not bold enough to take any initiative. And third is the connection regret, that you are not good to develop the network and connect with your class fellows, and lot of networking opportunities provided by the campus in other courses, other programs, with industry and so on and so forth. And last is the moral regret, that you do not do anything unethical, like you do not copy the case, categorize your assignments, right? So never have. So make sure that you do not have at the end foundational regret, boldness regret, connection regret, and moral regret. And therefore, it is very important that when you leave, you have created very important bonds, relationships with not only the professors, staff, but also with your class fellows. And I'm sure that when you go through the learning, you will be imbued with accumulated learning and energy of generations that have passed through the corridors, quadrangles, and classrooms of NMIMS. What you will experience in the class is not just the kind of one of the situations. It is an accumulated knowledge and learning and energy of last several years which is going to be given to you. Well, I wish you all the best and I'm sure that you will put all your efforts to maximize the cash, knowledge, skills and habits and have a very happy time to be a value creator all the time. And may I close by saying that we really live in challenging times. Great events are on the march in the world today. This is no time for defeatism. This is a gripping time, and anybody who believes in things and who would like to see a life of happiness and contentment ahead, God give you strength to face this challenge and give you the strength to do best in your life. बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं आप सबको.
Your words enlighten the students and we are sure them. Sir has taken movie reference to explain the importance of pushing beyond your limits. Thank you for offering your guidance, sir.
I request the dignitaries to please be seated in the first row.
We now have two Vice Chancellors, Dr. Meena Chintamaneni and Dr. Sharad Maiskar, to address the gathering.
I'm already there. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Annaji, am I audible? I'm already there.
for not being present and taking advantage of this online mode and trying to reach all our students and welcome them on behalf of SPKM's NMIMS. I'm happy that all our off-campuses could join in together, so all the students could get a view of the university and the message from the university directly. My sincere apologies for not being present and taking advantage of this online mode and trying to reach all our students and welcome them on behalf of SPKM's NMIMS. I'm happy that all our join together, so all the students will get a view of the university and the message from the university. I also wish to say that Dr. Maskar is held up and could not be in a position. Again, the advantages and disadvantages of technology. My sincere apologies, I'm not very tech savvy. However, I would also like to convey that Dr. Maskar, our Pro Vice Chancellor, my colleague who is held up in the German embassy for a visa purpose, so he would join a little later, and that's the reason I would like to address the students and welcome all of you on behalf of the university. I understand and I congratulate each of you to make it possible to join. There will be opportunity very soon that we would visit the campus and we would which would be much. However, it is necessary that today being your first day as a student of MBA in your respective campuses of NMIMS, it was imperative that we at least connect to each other to convey the objectives of our university, the ethos of our trust, and the badge and the responsibility that each one of you would shoulder from today on as students, and probably 2 years after that, you would have it lifelong on your shoulders as our alumni. So all of you must be aware, because you all must have done a very thorough study before actually applying to NMIMS, but also would like to bring to your notice that the trust that we belong to, our parents, the trust Sri Velaparle Kelavani Mandal itself is only with a sole objective of spreading education. So when the trust has got only the objective of spreading education, you would understand that the ethos of not only NMIMS but also our parent trust is wherever we are having our campuses and our institutions is only and only with a motive of spreading education. NMIMS, as you all know, that in academic quality and rigor, which is itself all you students are a testimonial for this particular statement of mine. But I would only urge that whenever you all are within the campus, within the institution for a particular program enrolled, understand that where you believe where you speak to somebody, where you meet somebody, where all your actions convey what NMIMS is. And that's the reason we feel that it's very important to convey to students that there is something called as discipline, decorum, and the framework of the university. Do not feel it as an imposition or some kind of harassment or something that anybody sits on your head, but it's all for your self-discipline, time management. I'm sure later half of your life, when you go into the corporate, you enter into the industry, you're exposed to the world, you would understand that whatever churning and the discipline that you have been made to do, like it or don't like it, but what is being told as discipline for you to follow within an organization is something that is going to help you lifelong, and this will develop as a imbibed nature of yours, which is very important in life. You might not understand the importance of it today, but I'm sure down the line you would come back to me as an alumni and always reassure, saying that what we said, we heard on an orientation day to day has really made a difference and an impact in your life. And that's what I would love to hear from each one of you when you come back after 10 years, after 5 years, after 2 decades, and I would be waiting for such feedback. And that's the reason you would have this orientation program being done a little more seriously, because I understand that students from all over, from different backgrounds, from different colleges and different disciplines together on a similar platform, need to understand how we are going to go ahead in this journey of 2 years, every trimester. What do we expect out of you? Because I very sincerely remember that it's well said that if a student knows what is he going to be evaluated for, he would be performing the best, and it would be the better, it would be a better option for students to know what is it lined up in the course of the program. So it's always important that this whole orientation schedule, I know it would be far-packed, I know it would be too strenuous and too stressful, but every session is done with a particular motive to give you an idea and to make you realize what are the expectations from a campus, what are the expectations by and large from this program, because the more successful you are, the more successful we are. And that's what each one of us would strive in the coming 2 years for each one of you. So all the very best, and I would definitely see to it, and there would be opportunity very soon. We would visit each of these campuses and would like to have an interaction with each one of you. The only thing I would like to say before I conclude is, we have a lot of opportunities and a lot of resources in terms of academic resources, library resources, human resources in each of our campuses. I would expect students, you mature students, you focused students, you fortunate students, to take the advantage, the best advantage of each one of these resources that are available. Do the best, ask for the best, and help us in this journey to make each one of you very successful. When you are doing so, in this journey together, just remember that there is something called as trust and faith. Please understand, my dear students, whatever we do is always with a motive to make you comfortable and to make you successful in whichever domain and vertical you have chosen. So never ever have that sense of suspicion if whatever is being told by your respective teacher, by your coordinator, by anybody, the least person in your department to the highest position of your campus, each one of us is only going to focus on a single goal to make you successful in your career. With these few words, I would like to again congratulate each one of you to make it to the MBA program in your respective campuses. Enjoy the maximum. This is the best period of your life. You would cherish these moments with your friends and in your institution all through your life. But along with it, please let not the academic rigor slow down. And once again, a warm welcome on behalf of NMIMS Deemed University to all of you, and all the very best in this journey of 2 years that we are going to be working together to make all of you successful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am, for motivating the students. I'm sure it has left an impact on each one of you and will help you uphold the NMIMS spirit. An entrepreneur, author, athlete, motivational speaker, Mr. Amit Sheth is our inspiration and biggest support. Mr. Sheth is the member of the Managing and Executive Committee of the Sri Vile Parle Kelvini Mandal. He is the member of the Mitibai College, Sri Bhagubai Maftal Polytechnic, the Balwant Sheth School of Architecture, the School of Branding and Advertising, and of the Hyderabad campus of NMIMS. He is also a member of the governing board of DJ Sanghvi College of Engineering and the Mitibai College. Mr. Sheth has an MBA degree from the University of Lowell, USA, a master's degree in plastics engineering from USA, from the University of Bombay. He is the author of 2 books, Dare to Run, a motivational book about life and running. The book has been on the Economic Times, New Delhi, and on the bestseller list. He had co-authored a 2nd book, 2 Men on a Trail, with his son Aryan. The book is about a 1,000-kilometer trek across Spain. Mr. Sheth worked for General Electric Plastics in the United States of America and Netherlands as manager of business development before he established his own company, Skydomes India Private Limited, in 1995. With utmost respect, I now request Mr. Amit Sheth to address the gathering.
there is a problem with technology online and sometimes also in person. So, thank you. So we're going to have a slight change of plans. Our guest of honor will speak first while my team tries to sort this out. Please come and introduce our guest of honor. Thank you. You'll have to clap for me again.
Is a global professional with over 2 decades of global experience spanning across banking, financial services and insurance. He is passionate about growing profitable business at scale, nurturing talent, driving innovation, continuous learning and partnering with clients to shape their market presence and business transformation. He is currently working with Backbase LLP, a market leader in digital banking products, as country head and APAC and is based out of Hyderabad. After this, he worked for many years with Capgemini as part of the Global Financial Services leadership team as a Vice President and Head of India, Asia Pacific and COO for the banking and insurance practices. Dr. Ramesh is an accomplished speaker at various industry and academic forum on financial services, innovation and education. He works actively with the startup community as a mentor and is on the boards of prominent business and engineering schools as an advisor and guest speaker. I would now like to invite him to address the gathering.
Am I audible?
First of all, namaste. And I'm so glad, and it always it feels heartening that the most traditional of Indian greetings is now taken over the world, right? And in the past 2 years, this has become the way we address each other. So, once again, I wish you the very best when I start this very auspicious invocation ceremony. It's not just a privilege and honor to be here, and I would like to extend my warm regards and sincere gratitude to respected Vice Chancellor Dr. Ramesh Bhatt, Pro Vice Chancellors Dr. Meena Chintamaneni and Dr. Sharad Meister. I know he couldn't join. Mr. Amit Sheth, very of your books and your journeys in your trekking and other aspects. Dr. Ashwini Deshpande, Director Madam, thank you for having me here. Dr. Abhilash Ponnam, Head of SPM, and it's amazing to see how this group has put such a wonderful event together. Our campus registrar, Dr. Mr. Rishikant, and the entire NMIMS family, right? And in that this whole event was being broadcast across 5 campuses. It's the scale at which it's being done. It's a privilege to be here. Heartily welcome and congratulations to this amazing talent and this amazingly talented group here. Each of you, first of all. As Sir rightly called out, I think I was smiling when I was hearing him because probably after over 2 decades or so, I can see I'm on this side of the table, but maybe 2 decades back I was on the other side, right? And I was listening to exactly similar things and very rigorous process to be selected. I come from our very good friend Symbiosis, so I'm from that institute and I'm an alumni of that. Then I went on to do my PhD as well. Incidentally, in some form, I'm connected to NMIMS. I'm on the board of studies here for NMIMS Hyderabad. So I would like to consider myself an alumni of NMIMS too. So, and I can understand what you're going through at this point in time as you embark on a new. I'll just say that this will probably be one of the most memorable of your life, where you'll end up not just learning about management education, but building some really lasting bonds and friendships that will just stay with you for the rest of your life, right? And I can say this after having gone through this now over 20 plus years, right? So I think cherish every moment as you go through this journey. Very importantly, at this moment of your accomplished start to the next phase, I think it's extremely important that I would also congratulate and time when you are probably unclear or low. I think every moment we need to thank them for where we stand today, right? And what they've always given us as, call it, the fundamental values of life and just to get to this particular point. I hope all of you truly acknowledge what it means to be part of one of the most prestigious institutes. So I'm very confident. I've been witnessing the growth of NMIMS over different years, and in the past few years, we've hired some brilliant talent from this institute, from the Bombay campus. As when I was in Capgemini, I just moved to a new organization recently. I was there for a very long time, and some of you know that when Hyderabad SPM was growing, I wanted to also start this partnership with NMIMS Hyderabad and onboard some brilliant talent into this organization. So they're doing wonderfully well in wherever they are, and I think you should be proud of the most prestigious institutes. And I do believe NMIMS Hyderabad is one of the youngest AMBA certified management institutes, right? So a big round of applause to the management team who has been piloting, as the Maverick story tells us, piloting all of such amazing initiatives to be right at the top and in a very chosen few institutes across India. And I'm sure you will go global and also rank among the top institutes in the coming years, right? So you are going to be the torchbearers, the brand NMIMS brand. So I wish you the very best on that. I strongly believe that our alma mater plays a very, very crucial role in education is laid for us from here on, right? Especially the management education. You've all gone through, one is a rigorous selection process. Everybody in this room has a very high level of education. So I can tell you this when, from a corporate perspective, that, and I'll touch upon a few aspects as we go, but first is be very proud of your alma mater. Right? I think you are a big part of our life. You should feel that, as Sir called out, the quadrangles, the corridors, and you should just soak in that energy, soak in that vibe that comes in, and feel that really how privileged you are to be part of an institute like this. And what's amazing to see is, I think after COVID, this is the first, probably this is probably one of the first large physical I'll just share a very quick one, again going back to our friends. I was privileged to be invited as the chief guest for Symbiosis' 25th Silver Jubilee anniversary, which incidentally was to be physical, but suddenly because of situations, it moved into a digital world at the beginning of COVID. So I'm just sharing that mainly because of the uncertainty around us, right? And how the most well-planned, sometimes events can be probably disrupted by external events around us. And when I came in today, I was saying that I'm glad I could be here on time to an event in person. So, again, about the fact that you're able to meet your friends and people who will be with you through thick and thin in the next 2 years as well as beyond this as well. Now, coming to the current times, the whole topic of VUCA was touched upon by Mr. Oliver. I think needless to say, presented times, right? Technology even in a relatively simple situation. But think of it, the world is experiencing the highest level of prosperity ever experienced. The world is at the peak of technological advancements that have ever been seen. Yet, nobody could predict what was coming at us 2 years back. And I always say this, there is so much talk about AI, and there is no talk about NI, which is natural intelligence, right? So, and that's the pilot part, sir, that you were referring to. I think regardless of how much advancement we made, the lesson, one enduring lesson, and I hope it stays and beyond this room also, that we can be at the forefront of technology, we can be at the forefront of management education. We can take giant strides in of call it learning, education, etc. But there are certain foundational aspects which I believe, and I'll share some of my experiences here, regardless of the situation, regardless of the type of the world we live in, and which will be the ones eventually to get us out of those situations and help us again come back to the right path. And I'll talk about those. I didn't want to go on, I can speak for the entire day, but I didn't want to go about too many aspects. Probably 5 enduring aspects that I have personally experienced. I went through the 9/11 attacks, right? So 2002 was when I completed my MBA. We were all in the second year of education. We were all ready for 2001 when we were all ready for our final placements. It was just a question of, and even in my case, we had the best of MNCs ready. One fine day in a room like this, we see the aircraft, World Trade Center. That's it. Along with the crash, everything just fell apart, right? And fact is, today, and even at that time, one thing that we immediately said, personally, I felt that let's not get bogged by what's happening here. Let's try to see the thing can come out of it, right? I may not probably get X that I expected, but will I still get what will set me up for the rest of my life, right? And I think that twist in thinking helped in looking at life a little differently. And with that background, I do want to, and it was not just us, right? I think we were lucky that we were among the few select institutes that ended up being that ended up getting a job which all of us are here for. And as Sir rightly said, getting a job, money, probably that's an outcome. That's probably not the first come with that when we start the MBA courses. But let's now look at what would be those 5 foundations and how our lives shape up from here on, right? And how the next 2 years will shape up. The first one is purpose. So it's a combination of a few things. It's purpose, passion, and being authentic, right? Again, Dr. Ramesh, mission. I'm calling it here. To me, purpose has always been larger than saying I want the best job, I want the highest campus placement that will come into this place, I want day zero jobs, or I probably want to become a vice president sooner than later, right? So that's probably one of the aspects in the way we approach our purpose. But the purpose is much larger. And I would like to extend, I always ask one more question and extend what Sir said. Instead of just asking about what is the skill we learned, it's very important at this stage, during the invocation, during this first step of your management education, what is my purpose from here on? Right? What is my purpose for my management education? Why am I doing it? Fine, great jobs, essential. Financially, we need to be important. But is there something beyond that? And that's the bigger picture view. That's the bigger purpose is much larger in life than just looking at what will this 2 years give me, right? So please do ponder on it. It's extremely important. You may realize now that, or you may feel somewhere that not so important at this stage. But trust me, it'll keep coming back to you every single year. Even if you're in the best of jobs in any part of the world, it'll keep coming back in some form. The only way we are not thinking about that is by ignoring it. So please do spend that sets you up foundationally in the best possible way. Once that is in place, it's the passion. We have, I don't know, millions of examples, and as I was hearing Mr. Amit's passion, I do believe running is your passion. So that if you've written a book on that and with your son, it was very heartwarming. In my head, I have a teenage son, and I was thinking, when will I do such a trip with him? So I think that's the passion part, right? Something that is, regardless of the external outcome, regardless of what's happening around us, what is close to my heart, which I will give to my education, to my own life, more than 100%. And to me, that's passion, and giving it everything that we've got. And regardless of what we are doing, we will do many things as we progress through life. And third, in this particular aspect is being authentic. We all know how the world is today around us. I'm not going to judge on what is right, what is wrong here. Authentic. And when I say being authentic, it shouldn't be that I am saying something here, I'm doing something else behind this, but once this is over, I'm saying something here, I'm doing something completely contradictory to that. So please do inculcate that. The corporate world desperately needs it. We need the corporate world, and if you extend that beyond that, our world needs it even more. Communities need it even more, right? And so never undermine the importance of being authentic, because if we are not, it's easily seen through. So please bear that in mind. That's the other foundational aspect. Now coming to I do believe the second, emotional and spiritual intelligence, as I would call it. Our world, there is so much emphasis right from our schooling on IQs, right? Higher percentages, higher grades, higher qualification criteria. But the most essential aspects of emotional and spiritual intelligence, and I'm not referring to anything religious here. I'm referring to the foundational aspects of introspective, connecting to your inner self. Sir talked about meditation, right? And it's not just when the chips are down for us, but actually when the chips are really working well for us, can we make that a part of our daily life in a way that it just lends a very clear sense of have the clarity of thought to look at the bigger picture. the vision and the mission of the society was called out, right? It's about spreading education, period. It's about spreading quality education. And then everything else comes into that. So I think it's very important, please do think of this emotional and spiritual. If we believe these are concepts that aren't essential, because in context, especially post-COVID, nowadays it's extremely. I would have my team alone as an example. Top 100 plus management students from top B schools. And one of my first thing is not about IQ, not about grades. It's about the fact that I learned a new acronym which is CASH today. The attitudes, the skill sets beyond your education. And the most important part used to be this emotional and spiritual intelligence when we would onboard those members. And I can tell you what is the outcome of this. The outcome in an organic way was that we had the most fun-loving, well-bonded teams. I had a group of almost 8,000 people in our organization, right? So I think we do pay attention to this aspect as well. That's the second part, which is you'll do very well on the grades. I know this is a talented group. Don't worry about it. You will do well. And I was just looking at the audience when Sir was talking about testing your limits and pushing fish grin that, oh man, this is going to be a tough one. I do believe I could see that smile on your face that we know what you're talking about. So absolutely think of it that you're diamonds in the rough at this stage. Any diamond to get its true value needs to be polished, needs to be tested, and then shine, right? So that's when diamond gets its highest value. So you're all already diamonds in different ways, and this is your opportunity to truly become diamonds with the highest value, and I'm not referring to the monetary value alone here, right? So good luck on that. Third aspect in this VUCA world, which is very important, is you would have heard of the word resilience a lot, but if you just have to look at that a little more broadly, it's about the ability to change and adapt. When COVID hit us, we all know, I'm sure, the institute had to immediately, and the university had to immediately pivot in a way everything would move digital. I experienced that from a different lens, where suddenly we had to move from 2,000 people working from home to 150,000 people working from home. And while digital has maintained that continuity, I think probably one aspect they haven't helped us truly is look at how is it helping us mentally in our ability to adapt, right? Because it's probably not important to look at how are you every day being ready to be able to adapt to these changes that come through, and absolutely the rigor of education in a university like NMIMS will set you up for that success. I heard Dr. Meena talk about the fact that alumni, when they come back and recall how this phase has helped them really be set up for success, I can vouch for it. I can vouch for it. These 2 years will truly make you look at change. I talked my massive change or tipping point for me was the 9/11 attacks, which were world-changing events. COVID is world-changing event now. We had world-changing event back then. So please don't think there haven't been world-changing events. There have been world-changing every generation. There have been black swan events, as we call them. Every time 2008 was one such massive global event that shook up the world economies and continues to plague us even now in different forms. So you're not alone. You're not the only ones going through it. You just need to be ready with a view to say that these things will continue to happen. How do we be better prepared? Fourth one, which is, I think, it's not necessarily in any order here, is gratitude and humility to appreciate unique perspectives. Gratitude first, we touched upon it earlier. Whether it's our parents, this wonderful group of people around, your friends, your well-wishers, your professors, your helpers get this institute up and running from day one, right? And regardless of which role they are playing, whether it's people just helping in the housekeeping, I think it's very important to acknowledge each person's unique contribution and their perspective. It's not just about, are we at the top of the hierarchy, are we at the top of in a senior position, am I highly qualified or not? None. I always loved one thing which I learned, and it probably it comes with the whole openness to understand different cultures. We say we are independent. Just ponder on that question once. We need to understand how independent are we. We believe we are 90-95% independent and 5% dependent on others, but it's actually the other way around. We are probably 5% independent or even lesser. We are extremely interdependent on the world around us, right? So, do keep an eye on that whole gratitude and humility. And I'll tell you from a corporate perspective, the organizations that I've always worked with, and most, if you just look around, most of the organizations you'll go in are organizations that are truly global in nature. Now, most of them, right? Which means you'll have people from, regardless of where they're headquartered, you'll have people from cultures, you'll have people from different backgrounds, and what is probably acceptable in India probably is not acceptable in Dutch. What is acceptable in French is probably not acceptable in the US, or acceptable in terms of a cultural, and this is something that only experience will give you. But humility gives us that opportunity to be open to those unique perspectives and see that yes, there is a world beyond us. And it's important for us to acknowledge that reality, that part of reality, whether it's in NMIMS, and you'll have that even in NMIMS, right? You'll have people from all parts of this country. So my request is, I see this when I go to campuses, that you'll have people from Hyderabad sitting together in one place. You'll have people from Bombay sitting together in one place. You'll have people from Bengal sitting in one place, right? Consciously break that. Find opportunities to mingle with everybody outside of your circle. And that's when a lot of this will fall in place, right? And you'll see how richer your life will be, because suddenly those perspectives which we thought would never exist will start coming into our lives, right? So please break that part of the cycle. Yes, you always have. It's important to not just get comfortable with everything that's familiar to us. Try out the unfamiliar, and then you will see how enriched your life is. Last point is enjoy, have tons of fun. What journey? It's not a 100-meter race. It's not a 50-meter dash where we start off today and we are having that in a year and a half, we want a job and that's it, right? It's not a 100-meter dash. So enjoy every moment, build some lasting bonds and friendships, build truly unique and deep relationships that will carry beyond this campus into the corporate world, into your personal lives, into so many other areas, right? So it's extremely important, because today we are more dependent on communities around us. The last 2 years have shown us how important it is to acknowledge the presence of even the marginalized communities, even the communities that just get us going, right? And if the last 2 years haven't been a wake-up call, I don't know what will be a wake-up call for us. So enjoy this journey. Look at it as there is a saying, and that's something that I've always held dear to my heart, is the journey is the reward. Truly enjoy that journey in a way that it gives you that satisfaction, fulfillment, happiness, and ask yourself, and it'll all tie back to your purpose, right? What do I want? What is dear to me? Money, is it just getting to a senior position? Is it to become a CEO? What is it? Start tying up these foundational aspects, you'll see everything is interconnected. So look at it in that way. You are in Hyderabad, the city of biryani and city of pearls. Enjoy the biryani, take lots of pearls for your parents, and have fun in this process, right? And it's a lovely place. You come from different places. In your internship, you'll probably go to different cities. Try and pick places where it's not your hometown alone. I know that temptation to visit our home, right? But for the fact that I worked in Mumbai for some time, the monsoon season in Mumbai used to be a really, important part of living there. Similarly, experience of biryani, the wonderful food, go around, in groups, meet up with people. Sir talked about run and save the earth campaigns. This place is known as the cycling capital of India. I'm sure Sir will talk about his running experience. A lot of activities that will help you set up well for the community. Those were foundational aspects. I can just very quickly summarize for the benefit of if it helps. First, passion and being authentic. Second is the emotional and spiritual intelligence picture of life. Third is about ability and appreciation of definitely not the least is enjoy the journey, have lots of fun, and you are going to be students, also going to be the future leaders. Make your alma mater proud, and that is the best way to repay what they have taught you, what they will be teaching you over the next 2 years. And I can tell you, I'm immensely proud of my association with all the institutes that I've been part of, and a journey that's now eventually taken me to, today I'm on the Dean's Advisory Board for Schulich School of Business in Toronto. None of this would have happened had the steps that led were in place, right? So the point is, nothing is small, nothing is too big. It's not about size, it's about the value, it's about the depth and the passion with which you go through all of these aspects. So absolutely have fun, make your alma mater proud, make your parents proud, and become those change agents. I'll probably maybe quote two of my favorites. First is, be the change you wish to see. You know who said it? None other than our father of nation, Mahatma Gandhi. Second is by, if most of you know, I don't know if you were probably in school at that time, is by basketball legend Michael Jordan. He said that there are people who wish that things happen. There are people who want things to happen. And there are people who make things happen. So you are the ones who will be change agents, and you need to make a choice to say that, do you want to be in those first two categories where you wish something is happening or you want something to happen, or you are the change agents who will make things happen for yourself, for this institute, for the corporates and businesses you will be part of or you will set up as entrepreneurs, and the broader world around us. It needs sensitive, empathetic leaders like you who will make a very, very big difference. So I conclude by once again thanking the NMIMS family, everybody, all the dignitaries, for giving me this opportunity. And I wish each one of you the very best of a wonderful and an outstanding next 2 years, and an even more outstanding, great life and career ahead for you, right? So wish you all the very best.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your insights on the aspects of VUCA world, the importance of purpose, passion, and resilience, and for also reminding us students that, like there's prosperity after COVID, there's a light at the end of every tunnel. I request Mr. Seth to address the gathering.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that wonderful speech that you gave. I actually agreed with everything, completely agreed with everything. I think there was one point where there might be some confusion and there was a little laughter. You mentioned pearls for the parents. I think that they will buy pearls, but it might be for each other.
I did not go down that path.
And they will use their parents' money. Thank you so much. I'm delighted to be here. Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Ramesh Bhatt, Dr. Darba, our guest of honor, our Director, Dr. Deshpande, Dr. Abhilash Poonam, our Head of SBM, Dr. Rishi Gupta, our Registrar, all the other faculty and staff, and my dear students. Welcome. We are really, really happy to have you here today with us. I know that you must be filled with enthusiasm and excitement for the days to come and for the education which you are about to experience. So, just like everybody said, that you've come here to earn your MBA, which you think will someday get you a job. Some of you might become entrepreneurs. Of course, you have to make money. You also have to find professional satisfaction in life. Most importantly, you have to find happiness. And you have to have the ability to solve problems. You know, when you look at your father or your mother, you always think that, okay, you know what, anything which comes, they are there. They have the character, they have the strength of character to solve it for you. And that is where you ought to be someday. And this is a very important step in your journey, which you make, that someday your children think of you in the same way, that no matter what problem comes in life, my mom and dad are there, and they will sort it for me. And that is why you are actually here. And you are here to get a good education. So the question always is, what is a good education? You know, when I was a young boy, I think in my 5th standard, my father was an educationist also. He was the mentor of NMIMS. He was the vice president and trustee of SVKM, which is our holding trust. And one day, when I was in the 5th standard, I heard him tell somebody that real education is that which remains with you once you have forgotten all that you have learned in school and college. Now, I was only in the 5th grade and I didn't really understand what he meant. I had an exam going on, and next day I left the paper blank, thinking that it is okay to forget stuff. That's what my dad said. Of course, over the years I figured out what he meant. But the question remains, what really is a good education and why are you here? Change. So about 100 years ago, Bertrand Russell, he was a philosopher, political activist. He wrote an essay on education, and he said that real education is essentially 2 things. There is education in knowledge and there is education of character. Unless we put these 2 things together, it really doesn't work. At NMIMS, we will do both these things. However, it really needs an equal effort from your end, because we cannot do this alone. You know, there is a problem with in my opinion, with almost all education systems in the world. Almost from our 8th standard, we start dropping subjects. You know, some people drop math, physics, chemistry in the 8th and 9th standard. After that 10th standard, we have to start choosing whether we are going to be commerce students or arts students or science students. And that is an issue actually. Because to break this up, right, what happens now in life is that you start learning more and more of less and less. You start specializing. So the heart surgeon, even within, so there will be some students who will only study commerce, there will be some students who only study science or engineering, and there will be some students who only study arts. And there will be almost no cross-disciplinary exchange. And this, according to me, is a problem. You will get a great education here, and I can promise you that you will get a job, you may be able to become the entrepreneur which you want to be, you will be professionally successful. But is that enough? Is it enough to be very good? Means why not aspire for genius? And to be that, you have to do a little bit more. You cannot only be a business student. You cannot only be a student of the arts. You cannot be only an engineering student. You have to broaden your horizons. And in doing that, you need to do some things on your own. And that is essentially what I want to speak to you about. What has happened today is that even within the branch, you specialize more and more and more. The finance guy just knows everything about finance, but very little about human resources. All right, the doctor who is doing heart surgery actually knows very little about brain surgery or about anesthesia. He gets those experts. The engineer knows very little about what a pure businessman does. If you do that, you will be very good at your job. But again I say that that is not enough. We need to aspire for genius. Anybody knows what this is? Looks like a mandala, right? Actually, if you plot the orbits of Earth and Venus over 8 years, this is what you get. So in nature, science and art are not kept separate. They are actually the flip sides of the same coin. And if in nature you do not separate these things, how do we start beginning to separate them out in our real lives? Steve Jobs always said that I always thought of myself as a humanities person as a kid. But I liked electronics. To stand at the intersection of science is what I want to do. To stand at that intersection of humanities and the sciences. What are the humanities? Sociology, philosophy, history, law and politics. He knew everything from being a good businessman. He knew enough about engineering. He knew enough about technology. He was brilliant at marketing. Obviously, he was brilliant at figuring out finance. He was brilliant at designing. He was brilliant at everything which has to do with social, economic and political conditions, which is humanities. So it is not that he focused on technology. And look at every great genius who is recognized as of today. Elon Musk, correct? Physics and business. And designing, right? Tim Cook, Ratan Tata, architecture and business. And he knows all of them know enough about engineering. They know enough about technology. They know enough about human behavior. They know enough about human resources. They know enough about marketing, finance, and they bring this together. And that is why they stand in the place which they stand today. And you need to aspire to do the same. Let me step back in time. Do you know who this is? Da Vinci or DiCaprio? Is that Leonardo da Vinci or DiCaprio? All right. Almost 500 years ago, a young Leonardo da Vinci wrote a letter to the job. And he wrote a letter which was 11 paragraphs long. And in the first 10 paragraphs, he explained that he is an engineer. He said, I can build canals. Do you know why Da Vinci is always remembered? Mona Lisa and which other painting? The Last Supper. Okay, that is what made him famous. But when he started this letter, in the first 10 paragraphs, he said that he spoke about his engineering skills. He said, I can build bridges, I can build waterways, I can build canals, I can build armored vehicles, I can build cannons, I can build public buildings. Only in the 11th paragraph, he said, I can also paint. This is the man who drew the Mona Lisa and the Last Supper. He thought of himself as a man of science, and he brought that into his art. He used to dissect the cadavers. He used to dissect their face, okay, and he figured out all the muscles which move to have you smile. And with that knowledge of human anatomy, with that knowledge of science, he was able to draw the famous Mona Lisa smile. He combined his sciences with the arts. He knew so much. You know about, there was an ancient Greek puzzle to draw a square with the same us and a ruler. And sizing so well. He knew the ratios of every part of the body to the other. And the circle of infinity and the square in the middle, combining the two. And here again, he was able to, to symbolically show that man is at the center who has this ability to connect with the divine. He knew so much about the physics and mathematics of optics. He knew how light hits the cornea. He was able to draw the Last Supper and create a 3D visual out of a 2D image. Leonardo saw beauty in both art and engineering, and his ability to combine them. Genius. And so again, I want to tell you at all your MBA subjects, but you need to do more, because why would you aspire only to be good or to be you need to genius potential in each and every one of you to do that. About 800 years ago, a group in Florence got together and they designed the Santa del Fiore. That is one of the greatest and most beautiful cathedrals in the world. Now, when they made the drawings of this cathedral, they did not know how to make the huge dome, the Duomo. They did not know how to do it. They designed it. They made a model of it. But technology did not exist 800 years ago to make that dome. The reason being, it was to be made of 70 million tons of stone and mortar. The way it was not going to flying buttresses with cathedrals of those days you used to have. To take the stones from the ground to the height of 170 feet. To make a dome of 143 feet in diameter which would not collapse on itself. But the builders said, let us start from the floor. And by the time we reach, hope, years went by, decades, years went by. 300 years later, they didn't know how to do it. So they had a competition. And people from the world, architects, applied to get this project. Remember, they didn't know how to do it. The guy who got the job, a 41-year-old man called Filippo Brunelleschi, he figured out a way of doing this. He figured out a way of a design which will hold. He figured out a way of putting the bricks on the top which will not slide down. He figured out a way of building hoists and lifts to lift 70 million tons of stone and mortar. This dome is still today, it's a 500-year-old dome. It is still today the largest of its kind in the world. Do you know, Bruno Shelley was not an architect, he was not a carpenter, he was not a master builder, master planner, he was not a mason, he was a goldsmith and a watchmaker. He brought all his skills from completely different domains to bear on the subject. When they gave him the order, they thought this guy is a madman. By the time he finished, they know that he was a genius. And this is what I aspire for you. Each one of you should aspire for this level of brilliance. So here is the thing. How do you go around doing it? Right? And Bertrand Russell also laid some characteristics about character. What is it which builds a good character? Look, in the end, we pursue to be good people. right? You, at the end of the days, you want to have look behind and say, I had a happy life. So you need more, right? And he laid out some attributes on how to attain this rounded personality, which is what my dad was trying to say. That it is not that you will remember the formulas when you go out from here, or some basic theorems when you go out from here. It will what you will have become in your core. That is what he was trying to say. And what were the characteristics? Curiosity. You see, as we grow older and older, we stop asking the question why. Think back to that child's mouth of that little kid asking you why. That, as you study your subjects, stay curious about everything in life. Every time you see different, you have a case paper or beyond what is the minimum. Stay curious. Those texts. This is texts are there's like 7,000 pages. I think the original collection is was with either Bill Gates or I think it is with Bill Gates. In the year 1490, all this was jotted down on a single page of Leonardo's a book about things to do. Look at what he is asking himself. Get the master of arithmetic to show how to square a triangle. Inflate the lungs of a pig and observe whether they increase in width or length or only in width. Observe the goose's foot. If it were only open, the creature would not be able to make any kind of movement. Heavier and thicker than the air. Look at his level of curiosity. Correct? The measurement of Milan and the suburbs. Ask the bombardier about how the Tower of Ferrara is walled. Look at the extent of his curiosity. Let me tell you that Leonardo was very well schooled. He didn't even know Latin well. He is a genius because of his curiosity. And I want each one of you that you never forget the desire to learn. And learn whatever you are curious about. But stay curious. Do not stop being curious. Do not stop asking the question why. Do not stop wondering why is the sky blue. Look it up. And you will have learned something. He spoke of vitality. There was never yet a philosopher that could endure the toothache patiently. Look, if you are not fit, you cannot really perform at 100%. If your mind, it cannot concentrate, it cannot focus. Pick up a sport. Each one of you, over the next years, you must step out into the open air and do something. Whether do you do yoga, table tennis, or whatever you want to do. Healthy things for you. When you play, you may learn how to deal with other people, and that is why it is vitally important that each one of you over the next 2 years does some sports engagement here. And trust me, there is plenty of opportunity to do that here. Dr. Bhatt, I will tell you that he is a fantastic sitar player. If you go, if you look at the list of Nobel Prize winners, you will find that 90% of them have always played a musical instrument or written poetry or in some kind of performing or visual arts or written poetry. Anybody plays musical instruments here? Writes poetry. More. Loves to read literature. Many more hands. Fantastic. Do not. I will tell you why. And for please, it is not too late. It is scientists, engineers, artists, managers must learn to observe and visualize things in their mind, right? And when you play a musical instrument or when you write poetry, you are focused on the word, yet you do not lose sight of the whole macro. You are looking at the micro without forgetting the macro, and that is the essence of being a good businessman. You make a policy decision today, you have to visualize what it will do on a macroscopic scale. Of course, it is one of the best stress busters that you can have. And Einstein used to play the violin every time he was stuck when he was working on the theory of relativity. Richard Feynman, if you know, he was one of the Nobel Prize winning physicists. You must Google his lectures and watch them on YouTube. He had a fabulous sense of humor and he made physics fun. He used to sit and play the bongo. So I encourage you. We have musical instruments here. Start and perform and pick up music as an integral part of your life. Courage is another cornerstone of character. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. Nelson Mandela. He feels fear about something or the other. Each one of us. The question is, how are we going to react to it? There are some things where we are better off feeling scared. If you are walking here and a hyena comes running at you, you better run. Okay? There is no courage in that. But there will be courage when a friend of yours is being bullied and he is alone and he is being bullied by a bike and you stand up for him. There is courage when you go and speak to other people, just like Sir said. You are from Gujarat, you are from Delhi and you don't want to go because you are nervous. Courage is going up to a group of people you do not know and begin the process of making friends. Courage is stepping up in a class and saying, I don't understand this. Can you teach me that again? Courage is not copying in an exam, even when you don't know the answer and you are afraid of flunking. Courage is saying no to drugs. Courage is saying no to alcohol. And I want that you develop that kind of courage. Courage is formed in small pieces. It is not always that you compare your courage to that of another. Compare your courage to your same self when you were younger and develop that sense of courage. Empathy. This is another characteristic. It is not something which you do compulsorily. It is something which you ought to do voluntarily. What does empathy mean? It means standing in the feet of another person. Now think about this. You know, when my father was suffering from cancer, often I felt bad. I felt terrible and helpless because it was my father. The difference is, do I newspaper saying that that is empathy, and that is what each one of you must develop. We have a fabulous program initiated by a VC called We Care. Of course, each one of you will take part of it and do some voluntary work. But that is for a particular semester and for a particular time. You must make this part of your DNA. You must pick up a project which you love, which you feel strongly about. Let it be whatever it is. Let it be cleaning a street or looking after soil or planting trees or helping some other kids somewhere close by learn. But you must do this, and I'll tell you that there can be a selfish motive in this. You need to put it on your resume. It will help you. But you cannot start. People like Dr. Bhatt are just simply too smart. If you say that today I start this project 1 week before I go for an interview, they will see through it. It ought to be part of your DNA. And you ought to do it because it is the right thing to do. So trust me, pick up a charity. The blessings come from you which are beyond your understanding. And you will not know from where the blessings come, but I guarantee you that they come. And regardless of blessings or not blessings, you are a human who is privileged. You are sitting in NMIMS, your parents have paid the fees for you to be here. You are the luckiest of the lucky. Paid back. And start now. You cannot say that one day I will become a rich millionaire like Bill Gates and then I will start doing good. It starts now. Each and every day, no matter how big or small, think about it and try and do something which is good for somebody else. And how do you get around doing all of this? This part is not Bertrand Russell, this part is me. What do? How do you learn all these other domains? You cannot now sign up for engineering school and say, oh, I learn. It's too late. You cannot say that I will sign up for art school. How do you do it? You read. If I by standing on the shoulders of giants, you do this by reading. You know, our life, we can have only one experience, and that is limited. It is limited. How do you expand your knowledge base? It is by reading other people's experience. And you read biographies and you read autobiographies of whatever area interests you. And you will soon realize the issues which other people realize. You soon realize how they treated defeat and fear and how they developed courage. Or sometimes not. That is what you will learn when you face similar issues. You will have a ready-made answer or at least a direction in which to go. And then only suggest you read biographies. Which biography? I will tell you only you can start with two biographers. Look up Walter Isaacson and look up Irving Stone. Irving Stone has written two fabulous biographies, one of Michelangelo, the Dutch who sold only one painting during his lifetime. Van Gogh's biography is called Lust for. Michelangelo's biography is called The Agony and Ecstasy of Man. Look up Isaacson. He is one of the finest biographers of today. He has written a biography of Benjamin Franklin. People who made high-tech possible and the world today as starting from unless his biography. Stuff I spoke about was from that. The code breakers about the you need to also read did. Because those things can happen again. Google at least these two authors, pick up a subject and start reading. And then it will develop. One book will lead to another. Because each book, each person will inspired him. And when he was inspired by, let me go check it out. And soon your reading list will keep improving. It is a fact. Osho, all these guys. It is as easy to count atomic propositions of let me give you a hint, unofficial hint. Read How to Woo. Read some Shakespeare's love sonnets. What I am making is that is the key to succeeding in life and understand who you are. same outcome, and yet you must deal with them. MBA, you will be students, and very often you will find that there are some you like, there are some you don't like, but you are stuck with them. Understanding human behavior is one of to be a good manager, and there are fabulous human behavior. Simply start with and look up and then figure out whether you like it or not. You learn everything else. Run away with it. Learn how to deal with people, and that is learning is the key. And this last part, when I was writing this yesterday, I had actually written Pursuit of Happiness. But let me tell you a fact. Happiness is often it comes and goes. What you must learn is pursue philosophy. Figure out how to deal with hardships. Figure out how to deal with heartbreak. Figure out how to deal with change of fortune. Figure out how to deal with adversity. And that is what it teaches you, which is what you will need again and again and again. You will think, well, let me drop that example. But this is really what you do, and these are my three favorite philosophers. You see, the ancient Greek philosophers, Aristotle, Socrates, too involved. They would take a word and then 300 pages trying to figure out the meaning of that word. But those philosophers, Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, and Epictetus, pick up those books. Pick up this book, The Practicing Stoic. These philosophers, 2,500 years ago, were talking about the same issues which we face today. There is another book called Letters, one in the middle. He writes it to a young nephew on advice on how to live his life. There is a letter in there which says he admired a particular senator because the senator did not open a letter from the emperor, because the senator. Do you realize the parallels between you getting an email or an Instagram tweet which is and you not wanting 2,500 years, should I open a letter or not? The issues are always the same. So read some philosophy and read Seneca and read the practice as they were relevant 2,500 years ago. And again, finally, if you don't want to read anything, you have to read the Mahabharata. This is what it says in the introduction itself. What is here may be found. What is not cannot be found anywhere. Of text, of philosophical text, which you time I understand as to read 5,000 pages. But there are other smaller versions by Subramaniam, by Gopalachari, and every page is wisdom in Iliad or in Homer or in Virgil. There is going to drink water from a lake. He is dying of thirst. He finds that his four brothers who had gone before him are lying dead because they drank water. The reason being, there is a spirit living in the lake, and if you give a wrong answer, drink the water, they die. So as he's about to drink, the spirit says, no, you can only drink the water if you give answer. And this is just 2 pages, and look at the wisdom which you find here. Look at these question answers. Right? It's faster than the wind, more numerous than grass, thoughts. What is more valuable than gold? Knowledge. Health. Makes one wealthy, desire. And I love this one. What is the most amazing thing about the world? As if mortal. There is another. Yudhishthir goes dead. And they have a conversation, and Yudhishthir goes to him for advice and says, tell me how I can rule my kingdom. One day each one of you will lead a large company, I promise you. It may be your own company, or you may be a CEO of a large company. And you will have to lead. Forget the chapter on the Gita. Within that conversation itself is more magic, is more truth about how to lead a group of people, of how to lead a country, how to lead your own city, or in our case, how to lead our own teams. So read the Mahabharata. And finally, this is one more analysis of the Gita. So if you read the Mahabharata, most of it, but you read this then by Iravati Karve. She was born in Pune. She has written a brilliant book on each character of the Mahabharata. You know, who were the nice guys in the Mahabharata? And who were the bad guys? But it is not so. Everything in life is grey. There is no black and white. Each character, from Krishna to Arjun to Yudhishthir to Bhim, each one of them had their good and their bad, and they acted in their self-interest. You read this and you go back, and I am telling you that if the single most book which you read in life, beyond your textbooks and reference books, I suggest you read these two books. One version of the Mahabharata, followed by Yuganta, and go back to the Mahabharata. And finally, my final slide. I love this movie. Please watch it. They're telling me it's time. Read and write poetry because we are members of the human race. And the human race is filled with passion. Medicine, law, business, engineering, these are noble pursuits and necessary to sustain life. But poetry, beauty, art, love, literature, this you live for. And this keeps you alive. So for the next 2 years, my friends, stay alive. I will come and meet you again.
And not limit yourselves to being just good. The examples quoted by Sir regarding curiosity were definitely very inspiring. Thank you, Sir, for your valuable time to offer guidance to our students. We now request Dr. Abhilash Poonam, Head of SBM, to propose the vote of thanks.
I thank Vice Chancellor Sir, Pro Vice Chancellor Madam, Director Sir, Campus Mentor, Chief Guest for their inaugurating speeches and motivation. I thank you for gracing the ceremony today despite your heavy schedule. Your insights based on your personal journeys and the wisdom that you gave us today is unforgettable. I hope the incumbent batch today will utilize the nuggets of wisdom given by our esteemed chief guests, both in your times of elation and in times of desperation, and come out of this program in flying colors. You are here for roughly about 700 odd days. And as a program chair, I have two final remarks, and I could be reiterating a lot of wisdom that's already being spoken by our esteemed guests of honor. Point number one is that, point number one is that activities apart from the great extracurricular activities apart from the co-curricular activities. A lot of us believe that an MBA is all about getting good grades and getting good job, but then a lot of what reflects in your CV, other than your grades, is also your participation in clubs and committees. Our campus is a multidisciplinary campus. Right here, other than you, we also have School of Pharmacy, we also have School of Law. I suggest that you interact with them and make this campus a vibrant place. And when you interact with students of other schools and students of other disciplines, the learning becomes better, the journey becomes brighter. I wish you a great stay at NMIMS, and I hope you go back to your hometowns with life. Thank you so much.
I may now request everyone to kindly rise for national anthem.
पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
You all assemble here back at 2 o'clock.
Thank you all. As a matter of respect and gratitude, we request our director, Dr. Ashwini Deshpande, to hand over the bouquet to dignitaries and dais. Thank you all. I request the students to be seated here for a few moments.
Students, the lunch has already started, but we explicitly for people rather than counting at one go. Okay, so we are requesting the first 4 or 5 rows of students, please to the